Countdown to the President Obama's second inauguration. Tomorrow, hundreds of thousands of people will watch the president take the oath of office on the steps of the Capitol. But today, he'll be sworn in officially in a private ceremony at the White House. ABC's David Kerley joins us from Washington. Good morning to you, David.
Good morning, Deanna. Washington's already filling up with visitors here to see him take the oath and to actually have a little fun and party.
For some lucky kids, the party started last night. The kids' inaugural ball had some of the kids from Glee and Katy Perry. Later today, as mandated, on January 20th, the president will take the oath before noon. But that will be in the White House. Then tomorrow, on the steps of the Capitol,
I, Barack Hussein Obama,
on Martin Luther King's birthday, the president will take the oath again.
Because I've been to the mountaintop.
Honoring King and his favorite president, Abraham Lincoln.
The fate of human dignity in our hands. Now!
Mr. Obama will place his hand on two Bibles, one that King used, one that Lincoln used. Then it's the parade. The route has been secured. The floats are ready to roll down Pennsylvania Avenue.
This girl is on fire.
While there will only be two inaugural balls, they are star-studded. Alicia Keys, Brad Paisley, Jennifer Hudson.
And I waited for you, but you never showed.
But before all the pomp and parties, the president took part again in what he calls the National Day of Service.
This inauguration should also be an affirmation that we're all in this together.
So the first family grabbed some paintbrushes at a local elementary school.
How'd you guys get power tools?
Already the People's Lawn, the mall, is seeing plenty of visitors.
We love President Obama. Woo!
I got to tell you, there were a lot of folks out last night already having a good time. They've got a couple more nights to go here in Washington, D.C. The official ceremonies actually start here in just about another hour or so. The vice president will take his oath at the Naval Observatory where he lives. Justice Sotomayor, will be delivering that oath to the vice president. Dan and Bianna?
And David, just to make clear, you only heard reports about people partying last night. This is not something you witnessed firsthand, right?
Dan, I had to get up really early, so no, I wasn't walking the streets last night after dinner with some friends who were in town to see the inauguration. No, not at all.
Suspiciously detailed. David Kerley, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
A beautiful day there in Washington.
The inauguration is usually but one day of pomp and politeness before the politicians start fighting again. So let's go to ABC's George Stephanopoulos, who's in Washington, D.C. this morning to host This Week and to anchor our live ABC News coverage of the inauguration. George, good morning to you.
Hey, guys.
The president has a huge agenda for his second term. One of the big things on the agenda is, of course, gun control. Across America on Saturday, we saw these pro-gun rallies. Just really one sign of the amount of resistance this president's going to face to many parts of his agenda. So the question, I guess, is how much is he likely able to get done during this second term with lame duck status looming?
Yeah, and you've got to do it fast. You've only got about 18 months, presidents in their second term, to really get something done. And remember, before Newtown in December, gun control wasn't even at the center of the president's agenda for the second term. Now he's promised to put the full weight of his office behind those measures, but it's going to be an uphill fight in Congress, Dan. You've got a lot of Democratic senators already resisting the president's plans, almost certain that the assault weapon ban that the president is calling for will not pass the Congress. What they're hoping for, though, is that they can get some consensus coalesced at least around this idea that there should be universal background checks, but even that's going to be difficult. And as I said at the top, speed matters here. The president's power starts to slip away with every month that goes by in a second term, and there's so much to do.
And George, there's so much to do. He still faces an unresolved fiscal situation. It looks like Republicans may be extending the debt ceiling by a few months, but he still has major budget cuts to deal with this spring. Do you see his relationship with Republicans improving at all as they try to fix this crisis?
It is going to be a real confrontation. The Republicans did blink. That's exactly right, Bianna. They said they don't want this confrontation over the debt limit that was supposed to hit in February. They're going to extend it, as you said, probably until April. The president will sign that, which gives them a space to try to come up again with some kind of big budget deal before those across-the-board budget cuts hit in March, and the government is set to shut down at the end of March. There is no question that these big fiscal issues, taxes and spending, are going to define the first quarter of the president's second term.
George, talk about this term, the second term curse. Reagan had Iran-Contra. Nixon, of course, had Watergate. Clinton had Monica Lewinsky. Why is it that second terms tend to go sour?
Lyndon Johnson didn't even make it to the second term. He had to resign before he could run because of Vietnam. You know, ever since Roosevelt and the amendment which limited the president's 2 terms, what you see is that presidencies tend to run out of steam and maybe even get tripped up by scandal in these second terms. I think it's kind of a natural reaction to the fact that power is moving on beyond these presidents because, in fact, they are lame ducks. The Obama White House has studied this very, very closely. They know the perils of the second term. They think they can avoid the worst pitfalls. First of all, they're saying there are no scandals on the horizon, but they think they can avoid the worst pitfalls by having a focused agenda and moving fast.
And we'll see if they can. George, thank you very much. George, by the way, is going to have a special inauguration edition of This Week This Morning. White House Senior Advisor David Plouffe is on the show, plus a special guest, Eva Longoria.
And stay with ABC News and GMA for continuing coverage of Inauguration 2013. We'll be live tomorrow beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern with George and Josh Elliott co-anchoring a special edition of Good Morning America from Washington.